Hi Flosstube, it's Lynn, the Canadian Stitcher, back for a weekly update. Hello and welcome to my new subscribers, returning and first time viewers. Sorry, that was hard for me to get out. This week I'll be doing a weekly update, and I did find my little Christmas ornaments that were lost in the shuffle here. I only worked on 2 things this week and didn't make a whole ton of progress on them. Some progress, but not huge. So I thought what I would do, I thought what you might enjoy is a snoop through my stash. In the winter I showed all the different winter kits that I have, I think I had like 5 or 6 or something, different little winter scenes. So because it's summer, I thought I would do some of my summer floral kind of garden kits that I have in my stash. And that's excluding wreaths, because I do have a separate little pile of just wreaths, summer floral wreaths, and I think I have a 4-season one. So that'll be for another video when I don't have very much progress to make. But I did want to make a video today because I'm feeling fine, so good day to make a video. Questions and comments. I'm sorry I didn't write down the names this time, darn it. I did get a question on how I was doing on my skeleton tree progress. There hasn't been any progress on it yet. I need to get a Q-snap extension set. So that I can make my 17-inch Q-snaps, 17 by 17 Q-snaps into 21 by 21. And that way I'll be able to do as much of the stitching of the keys and the pearls on the Q-snap, and then the rest of it I'll just do freehand. So I'll be ordering those later this week. I've also had a couple of people ask me if I could do a demonstration on how I use laying tools. So I do have 2 different kinds of laying tools, and I will do a demonstration on that. I'm also going to be ordering a little tripod to hold my cell phone so that I can do, I'd like to do some techniques videos, like to show how to do different techniques and how-tos, and possibly even maybe some beginner cross-stitch videos for people that are just new and wanting to learn some basics or how to begin cross-stitching. I wasn't really expecting that when I started my channel, that people would come to me for some basic information. I don't mind at all people asking me questions and where do I get things, or how do I, where do you buy your fabrics, how do you do from a kit, how do you do from a pattern, all that kind of stuff. I was kind of expecting that people would go to, some older YouTube videos, people that have been on for longer than me, for how-tos on some basics. But absolutely, I can do some basic how-to videos. So I just need to have the right setup, and I have an iPhone, I don't know what it is, 8 or 9. It's one of the bigger ones, so it's really awkward to try and set up at a down angle. So I will get a little tripod, and then I'll be able to do some technique videos, and then I'm hoping to do some stitch with me also. Yeah, so this one is the Trolley needle laying tool. I also have 2 different little sticks that I use that I hold in my left hand. So the Trolley needle, you can use either finger. You could probably use any of your fingers that you want to, but I put it on my index finger like this, and it's just a blunt needle that's sticking out over the top of the finger. And when I'm stitching, I lay my hand down on my fabric anyway, and so you come up and I'll demonstrate it in a video, but it's very simple. It's very simple to use, and it does make neater stitches. I find if I'm using white or cream, ecru, the light beiges, light blues, light greens, it's more readily, you can see if the stitches are crossed over. So for neater stitches, I like them to lay parallel, and that's where a stitch laying tool comes in. So I will demonstrate that. I need to stick that to my border, I'm going to lose it. I also, I got those ones from that one from 123 Stitch, but I also made some. I just glued a darning needle onto a ring that fit on this finger, and that worked too. So yeah. I did get lots of compliments on my projects and on my videos, so thank you very much for everybody who's saying such nice things about the projects that I'm working on and my whips. How many were there? 29 whips. And also compliments on my videos and people saying how much they enjoy them. It was a really shaky start. I was very, very nervous when I started doing this, and it took me quite some time to get comfortable talking and yeah, not being so nervous. I still feel a little bit nervous, but it's gotten easier, and that's all from your guys' support. So thank you very much for that. So this week I worked on Cross Stitch. You'd think I'd be done this one already, my goodness. Cross Country Stitching, October 2003. The cover for Cranberries. And I took this one to work, and there was one day I didn't get to work on it on my lunch break because I had to go downtown to work, so I didn't want to haul this with me with my laptop and everything else, so I didn't work on it at work that day. So what did I do? I backstitched all of these cranberries in here, and I outlined this bit here, and then I started backstitching here. And I know I had told you that I don't normally backstitch as I go. You do all the backstitching at the end, but I've realized this is the first project that I've ever done on a small Q stamp. I used to do my small projects on hoops, so at the end of the day I would have to take the hoop off so it wouldn't leave hoop marks, right? So then the next day I'd have to set up the hoop again, so you know, it didn't really matter. But now that it's set up, I don't take them off the Q stamp, so as I'm working on them I don't find there's any permanent creasing or anything from that. So since it's all set up in the perfect position, I might as well just go ahead and do the back stitching as I complete this section. Then I'm going to go up, because this part, the stitching part's done but the back stitch isn't, but I'll go up and I'll do the next portion and I'll back stitch it as I go, and then when I get to the end all I'll have to back stitch is this section in here. It just makes logical sense to me that I'll just back stitch it while it's set up on the Q snap perfectly, instead of having to come back at the end and reset up the Q snap. It'll save me some bit of time. So this one's going back to work for lunch breaks again. Oh, that was a loud thunk. Okay, the only other thing that I worked on, oh, wait a minute. I did my, yeah, I told you I found my weekly Christmas ornaments. So there's another Santa, a reindeer, another tree. My goal was to have 50 of these done by Christmas. Let's see how many I have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a whole little pile here. And some of them are the same. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So that sounds about right for July, right? So none of these have been finished yet. Some of them are on little pieces of Ada. These are just going to go into simple little gold frames with red ribbons that came in the kit. These are plastic canvas, so these will have foil back attached to them and a hanging thread. And then I have the same thing with these ones that are plastic canvas. And then I am hoping to do some bigger ones more in November and December when it's closer to Christmas. There's a couple in particular that I'd really like to finish that are bigger ones, and then maybe do fancy finishing on those with nice fabric and backing and stuff. Long Dog Sampler, Death by Cross Stitch. I might need to change my channel name to the Canadian Mistake Maker. I made a doozy. Okay, so this is the Long Dog Sampler's Death by Cross Stitch. I love this picture. I've seen on Instagram and on YouTube so many people working on this in all kinds of variations. Variegated floss, really brightly colored pink one I saw, darker blue, black, yeah, and all of them are beautiful. It's really interesting to see everybody's different interpretation of how they like it. So I'll show you what I did. It's a big mistake, but I found it quick enough that it's not going to be disastrous. It's not like I have to throw this in the garbage or anything, but I'll be ripping. So here's my progress. I'm using color 830 by DMC. This is my, it's just a clip that I put on here, and then I magnetize my tweezers. Because when I'm working with darker threads, and you might know, I have a long-haired white cat, and who sits beside me while I stitch, and sometimes he'll get hair in there, so this way I just grab my little tweezers, I've got them handy there, and I just pull out the hair. So I just hang them right on there so they're right beside me. Anyway, this is how far I got. This is now 2 weeks worth of progress. So I was working from the bottom, which is page 13, and I was feathering into page 14. When I got here, I call these chickens. I didn't even realize what they were until I did the back stitching. I was like, oh, those are birds. So when I got to this one, the way I had my pattern set up, there was something right up against this, which it doesn't show on the picture of it. So I was like, okay, there's something wrong in there. So I thought I'll just leave it for now. I'll figure it out. And so I came up here and I started stitching all this border in here. This is about where the top of the page is going to be, so I'm hoping today I can get up to the top of page 13. So I did take a closer look at it last evening then, and I realized that the overlap, the gray lines, if you've done a Heaven and Earth, I got a cat hair on my lip again, see? That's why I always need those tweezers. On a Heaven and Earth, the overlap is only on one page. So I always end up cutting that grayed out area, that overlap, to the next page. I cut that off and just carry on. So with the long dog, that's what I did. I cut off the gray overlap area, but I cut it off on both pages. And that was my mistake. So the overlap is actually, you're supposed to stitch it on one page, but then don't stitch it on the next page. And I didn't realize that. So I couldn't figure it out. Like I was looking at it and going, okay, I know that there's a mistake. I made a mistake in the overlap, but is it one row or is it 2 rows? And I was tired last night and I couldn't figure it out. And so I asked Crafty Gaming Jamie, who I've mentioned on my channel before because she's working on the long dog and she's almost done. Oh, she's so close to being done. I asked her, I said, do you know, like just, I mean, I'm sure I can figure it out, but do you know what's with the overlap? And she very simply said, yeah, you only do the overlap on one page and then you skip it on the next page. So, I only feathered a little bit into page 14. So I don't know whether I went back and forth into page 14, 13, or just worked straight up. So I'll probably have to cut out some stitches and I got to recopy, stop at Staples and recopy pages 13 and 14 and just cut off one edge. So if you're starting on this one and you aren't sure, there's the solution to that problem. I can't believe I made that mistake. Such a simple thing. So this is my magnetic board. I know, probably people look at this and go, how the heck do you work on this? It's so cluttered. To me, it's awesomeness. So I have my pink highlighter because I'm only using pink. I have the current threads that I'm working on stuck there. These are threads that have already been used, but not completely, so I use these ones for the one strand of back stitching. And these are pre-cut threads that I have just in a bag here. That's a whole skein that I just cut into the length that I want. I've got my needle bar, my needle trolley, which I'm not actually using on this one, not finding it necessary. My Thread Magic, my favorite needle minder, that's an abalone shell. And my little mascara wand if I need to comb out some fine cat hairs. My needle pusher for the week, going again with the Canadian theme, but this one is a loon. And my scissor fob is also, whoopsie, a Canadian theme. Yep, because it's July, so why not? Okay, let's take a snoop through my summer stash. Now, so three of these I've bought recently, like since I started doing my YouTube channel. So you may have already seen them. And I'm not planning on starting, I'll just show you. So this one, Design Works Heartfelt, and this is Joyful. Sorry for the glare. This one I would like to start sooner than later, but I have to get rid of some whips first. This one is the Dimensions Gold Collection Spring Fairy, and she's a companion to my, where are they? Way up there. Winter Enchantress and Fall Fairy. This is the Spring Fairy, and this one is called Fairy Tale Dimensions Gold Collection. And these two I won't start until I finish those other two, because they're very similar and the charts are very similar, and the way, the readability of them. So those are on my to start later list. All of these are, because I've got so much on the go. I also have a Dimensions Gold Collections Petites. This is Chickadees in Spring with the blossoms there. I'm not sure how big this one is. 5 by 7. So this one's pretty little. And I'm sure there's back stitches in there. Oh yeah, there's back stitches, half stitches. There is quite a bit of half stitching in the background. So this would be a quick project to do. This one I had in my Stitch Mania start plans that got waylaid by being overwhelmed. So this is a Dimensions stamped cross stitch garden gazebo. And it's stamped, not like the Thomas Kincaid ones though. This one is stamped with the X's. And then you go in and you fill in, you stitch your cross stitches over top of the stamped X's on linen instead of Ada fabric or linen with the bigger holes in it. I'll put that away later. Okay, Pansy Profusion by Dimensions. Now these ones, all of these kits were purchased over 10 years ago. So I started cross stitching over 30 years ago when I was a young nurse and was living in a small town, and my roommate actually cross stitched, and I was a knitter at the time and asked her if she could teach me how to cross stitch, and she did. And I stitched for probably about 13, 14 years maybe. And then I stopped stitching and I started doing the jewelry making. And then somewhere along the line I kind of picked it up and I did some small things and bought a whole bunch of kits. And I wasn't actually, my hobby wasn't so much cross stitching as it was buying cross stitch supplies. So some of these, yeah, probably 10 years ago, and some of them maybe 5 years ago I did a couple little things, and then once I quit the jewelry business for good, then I got back into cross stitching, and I'm so glad I did. So some of these are older, but you might be able to find them. Dimensions is still a very popular company. You might be able to find the Dimensions kits, and also eBay. So so this one is Dimensions Pansy Profusion by Lena Lua. That one's really pretty. And this one is stamped, I don't know if you can be able to see that, this one is stamped also, but it's stamped onto Aida fabric. And I have done some like this in the past. They're just a bit different. You end up doing a few more quarter stitches than maybe what the pattern calls for, just to cover up this stamped area there. This one looks like it's been open, so this might have been an eBay one. This is Jan Lynn. Welcome. Pansy Welcome, this one is called. You'll see the theme here. This is the pansy pile. This is another Dimensions kit called Springtime View. This one's pretty. That reminds me of my cat sitting up there looking at the birds outside. This is a Candamar Designs Gold Collection. Picnic at Royal Roads. This one is beautiful. I love the mottled dappled sunshine down in here. This is one I want to do sooner than later too. So it's a Candamar design, but it's not stamped like the Thomas Kincaid ones that I've been working on have been. So yeah, beautiful. It looks like it's, I'm going to open it because I'm wondering if it's a solid, like full coverage, because it looks like the whole thing is covered. I can't see the fabric. No? Yeah, there's nothing stamped on the fabric, so it is a full coverage one. Even the background up in there, so yeah, I don't need any more full coverages right at the moment, but that is a beautiful design, and I do want to do that one for sure. The next one is a Sunset Birdhouse Garden. Looks like a little simpler one. The little birdhouses. This one looks 1994. It's a little old. Still pretty though. Another Dimensions garden door. Sorry, this glare. I want to open all the packages. So. Dimensions Sweetheart's Gate. Another sunset design. This one's called Garden Gate. Dimensions Sorrento Hotel. Almost done. And another Dimensions Gold Collection. What's this one called? European Bistro. I've seen this one done by somebody. Very, very pretty. And I've also seen this one on YouTube. This is a Jan Lynn Golden Gate Avenue with these tall, skinny houses. So that's all my spring, summer garden themed kits that I have. So I'm hoping to work through some of my kits. I'm leaving this one closer to the top. I'd like to work through some of my kits. They're older. Some of the designs are a bit older, maybe not be that contemporary designs, but I do have some newer purchases too of more contemporary kind of stuff, and I want to do both, so I'll get to them eventually. Okay, so the nail color for the week, it's got flakies, gold flaky foils in it. This one is from a company called I Love Nail Polish, ILNP, out of Las Vegas. They have an online store, And the color is called High Tide. Great for summer. And the bracelets, I just wanted to show you, this was something I had done for a while. I have a mosquito bite. I was out in the garden yesterday. I made these aromatherapy. I made different necklaces, bracelets, anklets. I even had little rings. And what these are is gemstone beads, or I had wooden ones, wood beads also. And then these are lava stones. So two, like the little round lava stones and then the flat lava stone. And so what you would do is you would take your essential oils and rub it onto the lava stone and then have it as an essential oil bracelet to have next to your skin. And then if you need to relax, smell your lavender or whatever it is. So yeah, that's all I have for this week. So I'll say goodbye and I hope you all have a good stitchy week. My Instagram, I've been posting a little bit more on that, starting to learn a little bit more about Instagram. So my Instagram name is Canadian the Stitcher. If you want to check me out on there and follow me so I can follow you back, that would be nice. And I'm enjoying looking at everybody's cross stitch pictures on Instagram too. So, and I hope to take more pictures of my updates as I finish up the weeks and show my progress kind of on through Instagram week by week. So have a good week. Bye.